Hey everyone. Today we're going to be discussing how to win at Forest Shuffle. This game is getting more and more popular, so I thought it'd be a good idea to dive into some of the strategies I use to win more often. And I'm going to be referencing a lot of points that I go into on my website, boostyourplay.com. I'll have the link in the description below, but let's just go ahead and dive right into it. The first thing you're going to want to do is just be familiar with the combinations of cards that work together. I call these themes. There are some themes that work in conjunction with other themes. The first one I'd like to discuss I call the large forest theme. This scores lots of points based off of the number of trees in your forest. And the most powerful cards in the large forest theme are the sycamore, the great spotted woodpecker, chanterelle, and moss. Here you can see a lot of the cards that I would typically use in this strategy, but the overall theme is that the more trees you have in your forest, the more points you're going to score. So things like roe deer, red deer, carpenter bees, all of these feed into the overall theme of scoring points based off of the number of trees you have. And next up, we have the bat theme, which of course scores points based off of how many species of bats you have. Other powerful cards in this theme include the gnat, the European fat dormouse, and pennybun. This isn't the most effective theme to use on its own, but it's a good theme to pair with something else as a supplement. And in a similar vein, we have the bird theme, which scores points based off of different species of birds. The most important card in this theme is the goshawk. So if you get the goshawk early, that's a good indication that you should add the bird theme to your overall strategy. Other cards that score well with this are the tawny owl, pennybun, Eurasian jay, and the chaffinch. And next we have my favorite theme, which is the deer and wolf, or the paw animal theme. This has the potential to score exponentially, so it's super powerful in two-player games especially. The most important card for this theme is the wolf. If you can get one or luck into two wolves very early in the game, then you should definitely go for this strategy. Wolves give you 5 points for every deer in your forest, so if you combine it with fallow deer or red deer, your points just snowball. And another theme that pairs well with the deer and wolf theme is the hare or paw animal strategy, where you collect a bunch of European hares. And the most important card in this theme is the red fox, which scores 2 points for every European hare. So if you can manage to combine the hare with the deer and wolf strategy, that's a really good combination because they synergize well together. Another one of my favorite themes is the amphibian theme, which again has huge potential for exponential scoring. The most important card is the tree fern because it scores 6 points for every amphibian in your forest. And other exponential growth opportunities are the tree frog, which scores 5 points per gnat, and the wood ant, which scores 2 points per card below a tree. So you're really looking for anything on the ground below your trees, feeds really well into this theme. And then we have the butterfly theme, which is effective and unique because it combines the potential for exponential growth with low or no cost cards. The most important card in this theme is the hedgehog because it gives 2 points for every butterfly, and the bullfinch, which scores 2 points for every insect. So you're combining butterflies and insects. And the mole is also particularly useful because you can play as many butterflies in that turn at once with no cost. So that wraps up the themes. Again, those are just groups of cards that work really well together. Usually you're going to want one, probably two themes per game, and that's really going to be dictated by what cards you get early and just the play style that you prefer. So now let's get into how you actually play the game. How do you go about choosing what cards to play and when? My first recommendation is to formulate a plan early. Choose a path based on the cards that you're dealt, and then early in the game, you're going to want to draw as many cards as you can. This is going to give you kind of a blueprint of which themes you should go for, which themes you can blend well together. And the more cards that you draw early, it informs your decisions. So, and then it also gives you more opportunities to draw rare and powerful cards that will really steer you in the right direction. Cards like the wolf or the tree fern would tell me that I would definitely want to go for the deer and wolf strategy or the amphibian strategy, for example. And then once you choose your themes, don't deviate from that path. Stick to your plan and don't change it. If you make a drastic shift in your planned theme mid game, that will almost always lead to a loss because then your cards are not going to synergize well together. Stick to the plan. Of course, things are always going to change. You'll probably find a second theme that you can synergize well with the first one that you've chosen, but don't ever abandon the first theme that you chose. So of course, throughout the game, you're always going to get cards in your hand that feel like they don't contribute to your chosen theme or themes. So you're going to want to use those cards to pay for the cards that do contribute to your strategy. The only caveat here is if you're holding a card that would clearly be very beneficial to your opponent. For example, if they've played a lot of deer, you wouldn't want to give them the opportunity to take another deer or, God forbid, a wolf. And then in that same vein, you want to deny important cards to other players. This is not multiplayer solitaire. You are playing against other players. So keep an eye on what kind of forest they're building, what theme they are going for, and then deny them the cards that they want to contribute to their theme. This includes drawing important cards from the clearing, playing those cards yourself from your hand, pay with them when the clearing will be cleared. They won't have the opportunity to take those cards themselves, or find a way to put them into your cave and just stash them away from the game. This is especially important in two-player games where denying points to your opponent is just as good as scoring points for yourself. And speaking of two-player games, your strategy should change a little bit. You're going to get more opportunities to play since there are fewer players, and you'll have access to more cards. This gives you more opportunity and more time to score in themes with the potential for exponential growth. If you're playing in a 3 or 4 player game, you're not going to get to play as many cards, you won't get as many turns, and so you might be looking for a theme that scores in batches or in a more linear way and doesn't take any time to ramp up. But in a 2-player game, you will have that time. So once you get that engine running and you can score off of the base of cards that you've built, that exponential growth will really kick in towards the end of the game. And I'd like to discuss the cave a little bit. When I first started playing this game, I really didn't see the use or the purpose of the cave. But there are 2 cards that give you access to the cave. The Brown Bear, which takes all the cards from the clearing and you can stash them into the cave. And then the Raccoon, which lets you take as many cards from your hand and put them into the cave. Both of these cards do have their potential uses and they can potentially be game-changing. The Brown Bear is a great way to deny cards from your opponent or your opponents. If you see that there are quite a few cards in the clearing that your opponent could use the Brown Bear and then stash them all away into the cave. Similarly with the Raccoon, if you just have a bunch of junk in your hand and you want a refresher, play the Raccoon and then you can refresh your hand and have the potential for some better cards to play. And my last tip is when you're winning and you see that first winter card come out, you want to start churning cards from the pile as fast as you can to expedite the end of the game. You want winter to come. You don't want your opponent to have any chance to catch up to you. So if you're ever in doubt about what to do, go ahead and draw cards from the draw pile and try to get those winter cards out. This is even more important after 2 winter cards have been played because every single card that you draw from the pile could potentially end the game and win it for you. Please subscribe for more helpful strategy guides. And be sure to check out the link in the description below for more detailed breakdowns of all the strategies that I've discussed here. Have a good one.